Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the word abracadabra and what it means and how it is used. And the reason I'm making this video is because everybody gets abracadabra wrong. I was at this woman's house. She's really into Wicca. She had a book on her shelf which was an encyclopedia of esoteric knowledge. And I thought, oh, that looks pretty interesting. I picked it up. The very first entry is abracadabra, and they got it wrong. Every time any TV show tries to explain abracadabra, they always get it wrong. So we're going to break it down, figure out what it means, and I'm going to explain the whole thing to you. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And here we have abracadabra written out in English. And what this word actually is, it's a combination of a bunch of different Hebrew words contracted into one. Hebrew uses a lot of contractions, and what we're going to look at is we're going to look at two root words that represent verbs. So in the Hebrew language, the verbs come in three-letter roots. So what you need to understand is that the Hebrew language doesn't have any vowels. It only has consonants, and the consonants can have any vowel sound attached to them. So, for example, the letter B could be ba, be, bi, bo, bu, or be. Or it could have no vowel sound at all, depending on where it's used and how it's used, and the meaning that is meant to be conveyed by that particular vowel sound, depending on things like whether it's present, past, or future tense, who it's referring to, all that sort of thing. So when we're looking at the word abracadabra, we're going to be looking at two different root words. And the first one we're going to talk about is starting with the letter bet. So here we have the letter bet. It's the equivalent of the letter B. And in this case, it doesn't have a vowel sound. Here we have the letter resh, which is the equivalent of an R. And in this case, it's saying ra. And the other thing that Hebrew has, it has two silent consonants, which actually work as glottal stops, and they can have any vowel sound or no vowel sound. And the one that we're going to focus on today is the letter Aleph. It's the very first letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it is the most commonly mistranslated into other languages as Ah. And that's what's happening here. Here we have the letter Aleph. We have three Hebrew letters that make up a root verb. And the other thing you need to understand is that Hebrew is read from right to left, not from left to right. So what we have here is the word bara or bore, depending on where it's used. And this word means to create. So this is the word that is used normally when we're referring to God creating the earth and all of that sort of thing. So I'm going to write it in here in English. So the second root word that we're going to look at starts over here with what we would normally think of as the letter D. And that letter, this is the letter Dalet, which would correspond to the letter D. Here we have another bet, which refers to the second bet, the second B in abracadabra. And here we have another resh, which is referring to the second R. And this is the word daber, or dober, which means to speak. Okay, so there we have it. And I'm going to add in our English here, so we have that too. Oops. Next point that we need to make is that Hebrew uses a lot of prefixes and suffixes, and it normally contracts the prefixes and suffixes that refer to things like prepositions, articles, in front of, behind, all that sort of thing, of, like, random different smaller parts of speech that we use separate words for. They do have separate words for them, but they usually contract them into prefixes and suffixes, and also they use prefixes and suffixes to talk about the tense and usage of particular verbs. So here we have what we're looking at here is the letter C, which in English makes sort of a K sound. And the letter that is the Hebrew letter that corresponds to the C is called kaf. And it is a contraction of the prepositions like and as. So in this case, it's as. And so it's connecting these two verbs, and I'm going to put that down here. And here we have the letter A at the beginning of the phrase, which when it's added in front of a verb is a contraction of the pronoun I. So here, we have another aleph, and I'm going to add it here. Okay, and that is going to correspond down here. We have, and it's a future form of I, so I will create. And over here, at the end of this word, normally in Hebrew, there would be another letter here, and this is the letter Hey, which corresponds to an H, and when it's added at the end of a word, it makes a long A sound. So in this case, it would be Ra. In English, we might see at the end of a word, it says R-A-H, and that would be the sound Ra. The H isn't pronounced. It's there to elongate the A. And that's exactly what we see here with abracadabra. The H at the end makes the final verb to speak a third person present tense verb. So I'm speaking about a third person, probably like an inanimate object or whatever it is, that whatever incantation the person is referring to with the word abracadabra. So the word abracadabra means I will create as I speak. When I speak, I'm creating. And that's what the incantation means. I hope this helped someone. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week.